Hello. Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to the real football fans of New Jersey. We are coming live to you from Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter right now. The Twitter, our most important platform, the Twitter. No, of course, all of our platforms are super important, and we are so excited that you guys are joining us tonight for episode 137.
And speaking of being on all platforms, thanks to the people who were giving us shout outs today. I know everybody got their what did you listen to
from Spotify
20, and we definitely appreciate the people. We landed in some top fives for their podcast that they listened to. So maybe you don't join us live, but obviously we still get a lot of podcast listeners, and we appreciate that. So thank you for the love.
Listen, I'm thrilled that you're listening to our podcast, but I don't care what music you are listening to. Stop posting it to your stories. I am sick of it. I don't even know. Maybe it's because I'm a Pandora user. I do have Spotify to check out, to make sure our podcast is looking okay. And sometimes I'll use the Spotify, but I don't know. It's just like, guys, like pump the brakes. I'm sick of your music shit. But thank you for joining us tonight. We have a loaded show for you as we're coming off listen, we're talking about football, housewives, but we're coming off a football game on a Wednesday night. We've never had something like that before. We are making history. We are coming to you live.
Longest NFL week in NFL history.
And we are making history with you guys here tonight. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to, let me give a quick shout out and thank you so much to Katie. So I am drinking the official Housewives wine. I had a couple inquiries asking Katie if you made these labels, and people know this is the official Real Housewives wine. They make wine. So it came with 3, a red blend, a rosé, and a Sauvignon Blanc. I'm drinking the Sauvignon Blanc tonight. So far, so good. So Katie, great gift. So thank you. So had to give that a shout out. All right. So let's go ahead and get into things. So we're going to start with questions. We did ask you guys to throw us questions. We did get a couple, and thank you guys so much. So let's go ahead and start with the first one. So should the Ravens been allowed to play tonight?
I got to tell you, like all the noise around tonight, more like today, 3:00 in the afternoon. There was so much noise surrounding like what was going on with this game, and it kept getting pushed, and people kept testing positive, and it was this whole ordeal. And I got to tell you, it got to a point where I actually tuned it out because it was too hard to follow. So I feel like I don't really have an answer to this. I mean, I'm glad that the game got played. And listen, it kind of sucked for the Ravens regardless because they had to go in with RG3. They didn't have Lamar Jackson. And, I'm just glad the game got played. But, it definitely had consequences of other games being pushed back, teams now being on short weeks. But it is what it is. This is a hard year. I don't know. What do you think?
We knew it. Yeah, exactly. We knew it going into the season. And you're not going to say to a Ravens team, like, you're not allowed to play because of the circumstances. They all woke up this morning in the team hotel. Everyone tested negative. So, okay, you move forward. I don't care if you don't have your star quarterback. Again, we knew this going into the 2020 season, that this was going to be a wild-ass year.
I would have been disappointed if it had to be a forfeit. So...
But in my opinion, if I were the Steelers, I probably would have forfeited that game. If you're 10-0, I would have been like, peace out. We're still winning the division because the Steelers are pissed. Did they come out tonight and play like they were pissed? No, they played a shitty game. So you talked all this smack on social media and also other sorts of media that you were mad that the game kept getting postponed, things like that. You did not come out to play tonight. So listen, I don't have them. Well, we're going to talk about our picks later, but I'll give you a sneak preview. I don't have them losing this weekend, but there's a good chance that they do because they played poorly tonight and they have a short turnaround time. So listen, I don't know, but listen, allowed to play. I don't even know if that's like, whatever. Okay. So second question here in regards to the holidays. So did you decorate yet for the holidays, and how many football and housewives related ornaments do you have?
This question is so bittersweet for me because I'll start with the happy part of my answer. I do have, last year I got a really awesome Giants ornament. And I also got a really awesome Luann Don't Be Uncool in her bathrobe ornament. And
it's a good one. It's a good one.
The down part to my answer is that I'm in the process. I'm going to be closing on a place at the very beginning of January. And it just didn't make sense to decorate when I'm going to be trying to pack up. So I'm not decorating for Christmas this year. And it literally kills me. What about you?
Well, I'm not decorated yet. I'm actually looking around my house right now, and there's still some pumpkins around that I want to smack off the shelves. This weekend is the plan, though. I usually get a real tree, but it's like a baby one because I do have a small condo. I'm going to try to get a bigger one this year, so I'm definitely excited about that. But yeah, I'm probably going to decorate the house in general on Friday. So I'm like really happy for that. Like, listen, pour me a glass of wine, blast the Christmas music, and we're decorating. I'm excited. Awesome. That's an evening for me. In regards to ornaments, I don't have any housewives related ornaments. I do have a couple like wine ones. So that definitely fits the MO there. I do have a bunch of Giants ornaments. It's like half my tree. A lot of the ones that are near and dear to my heart, though, actually come from my grandma who passed away a couple of years ago. My siblings and I took her ornaments from her old tree, and a lot of them did happen to be Giants ones. So one of the ones actually is that old school helmet, the one I'm wearing right now. It's a really cool one. And then Katie got me my first ever Alabama ornament. I've had it on display when you come into my house for the past year. And I'm so excited to finally hang it on my tree for the first time.
I literally got it for her in February. So I went to visit my parents in South Carolina, and there was this amazing Christmas shop.
I love Christmas shops.
In February, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to use these until December, but these are amazing. So
so good. So I'm so excited to finally get it on my tree and showcase it this year. So speaking of Christmas, another question coming in. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
Another good one. There's probably so many classics that I'm forgetting, but I would say that these last couple of years on repeat during December for me is Christmas with the Cranks.
That's such a good, it has a 5% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's bullshit. Bullshit.
I tweeted the other day.
I want to know what the fan percentage is.
I literally put out there I was like, this is bullshit. Great movie. Great movie.
I have to say that's a movie that I don't just watch in December. I actually watch it year round.
Great movie.
And then funny enough, I only saw the movie Love Actually a year or two ago, but I got really hooked on it. I watched that on repeat as well.
Yeah. I actually only saw that for the first time about a year or two ago also.
I know, it's crazy.
It's a good one. I'm a sucker for the classics. So I'm a huge Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer fan. It was on last night and I missed it. I'm very sad. But then also I love Christmas Vacation. Such a funny movie. And it just really hits home to celebrating the holidays with your family. Just kind of,
those making have wacky, crazy families.
Making light about a lot of situations. But that's on repeat for me, all it's like Hocus Pocus for the Christmas time. It's on every night in my house. So I'll probably watch it later, to be honest. Alrighty. So back to the Wednesday night football. How do you feel about having Wednesday night football?
Weird. And again, glad that they got it done.
Yeah.
But of course it sucked because, it started at 3:30 on a Wednesday. Everybody's at work. So
I didn't turn it on until 5.
Right. Not everybody had the opportunity to watch the full game. So it definitely sucked in that regard. But again, just happy they were able to play it. What about you?
Yeah, again, I didn't get to turn it on until 5. Listen, there's days at work where I have openings and I have the TV on in the background, but you can see this is where I work. My TV's right there. There's no way I could have hidden that I'm watching a football game. And I'm on camera 24/7. So it just sucked that I couldn't turn it on until 5. Ended up not being a great game. So even from 5 until the game was over, I was eating dinner. I was prepping for tonight's show. I really wasn't paying attention. So maybe in the future, I think we're just so drilled into, this cadence of Sunday, Monday, Thursday. And a Wednesday kind of threw everyone off.
And to be honest with you, and we always give you what to watch at the end of the show, but this has implications as well, because now this upcoming week, well, tomorrow, we're not going to have Thursday night football. Right. We are going to have 2 Monday night games, and we're going to have a Tuesday game. So it's just a wacky, wacky year, and everybody's just got to roll with the punches.
Yeah, for sure. And then one final question, and we will actually touch upon this later because it's breaking news. Technically, it did come out today. So someone just wanted to know if we were going to touch on the Brawwin news. So if you guys are living under a rock and don't follow 8,000 Bravo accounts like Katie and I do. Brawwin from the Real Housewives of Orange County did come out today, came out as gay. She is a lesbian. And this is after a lot of speculation between her and her husband, what's going on. And we did speak on a couple of shows in the past that, there is someone new apparently. And so it is come out now. She does have a girlfriend. So that came out today. So the short answer is yes, we are going to talk about it later.
Yeah. Definitely.
And that's it.
Yeah, we don't want to give it all right here, but we'll definitely touch on that, and we will get into our big stories of the week in the world of football now. Again, obviously that Steelers Ravens thing that went on, that was a big one, but we do have some other stories we want to talk about. Certainly this was a big one as well. On Saturday, it was announced that Detroit fired head coach Matt Patricia and their GM Bob Quinn. I agree with this. I do as well. Caitlin and I 100% said that Matt Patricia needs to and will be fired at the end of the season. I didn't necessarily expect it now, but again, let's not forget they played on Thanksgiving. They got blown out by a Houston Texans team that's not that strong this year. And I believe this was the best decision for this team. Offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell will be the interim coach. The firing comes, I just said, after their blowout Thanksgiving loss to Houston. They now have a 4-7 record. Actually, ahead of the season, the Lions owner did tell them, kind of gave them a little bit of a warning that they really needed to be playoff contenders this year.
And do you blame him? No. I mean, I think playoff contenders is a little extreme for the Detroit Lions.
I think if you tell somebody that, I don't even think that necessarily meant you have to make the playoffs, but you need to at least try in the hunt, right? They say in the hunt. You need to be in the mix. You know what I mean? You can't be eliminated early on, play meaningful football in November and December. And they weren't doing that. And so, Matt Patricia, he went 13-29-1 during his time as a head coach. Great defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. Who knows? Maybe he could go back there. I mean, I definitely think we both agree that go back to being a defensive coordinator, do what you do best. And there's no doubt in my mind that somebody will snatch him up right away.
Yeah.
And then also another firing. This kind of was a little more quiet because, Matt Patricia, that was a big headline one. But the Jacksonville Jaguars also announced the firing of GM Dave Caldwell with the team's record now at 1-10. So, yes.
I think I keep forgetting that their record is that bad.
I know. I think I keep forgetting too.
It's like the Jets just overpower them being
usually 1-10 would mark as the worst.
Or 0-11.
Lo and behold,
Here we are.
And then another story that we're talking about here, the Houston Texans wide receiver Will Fuller and cornerback Bradley Roby, both of their seasons are complete. They are done because they were both suspended for 6 games for violating the NFL's PED policy. They will both miss the remaining 5 games of the regular season. And since it's a 6-game suspension, they will miss the first game, the opener of the 2021 season.
I just think in a season that, is under the microscope because of what's going on in a pandemic, you can't be effing around with stupid shit like drugs or anything else.
Because you can lose players at any given moment.
But you're constantly being monitored because of coronavirus. So you are probably tested or going through something routine. And that's how they found out about this. The whole organization, the whole NFL is under a microscope right now. All sports are, because we want to execute healthy and put games on. So like right now is the stupidest time to do something like this.
You're absolutely right about that. And Will Fuller, actually, he came out himself, I think, on Instagram and apologized. He explained that he had taken medication that he believed was permitted. Later on, he learned that obviously it was not. You do hear a lot of guys kind of say that. You wonder whether it's true or an excuse. I don't really know.
You got to be open with your doctors. They know you're an NFL player.
That was a huge thing that happened with Maria Sharapova in women's tennis. She got suspended for a season, and she came out and said, like, I was taking something that I totally thought was fine. Later to find out it was, a banned substance. And to that, you got to just say, you have agents, you have people looking out for you. Look out for yourself, of course. Know what you're getting into. When you have contracts and stuff like that, read it. Don't just rely on other people, but you do have other people looking out for you as well.
And your doctors should be the best of the best.
Flip ups. And if you're going to be taking, like, I just feel like if you need to take something, absolutely, like before you even take it, you should be triple checking that that's not on the list. So, it is what it is. For Houston, they're not, going to be making the playoffs this year. So it sucks, but it would have hurt a lot more if they were to be making the playoffs, be a contender and lose some big guys like that. But it's still unfortunate. And then on Monday, Caitlin and I, we were not with you last week, but last week news broke with San Francisco 49ers as if they are not dealing with enough this season. But on Monday, it was announced that the 49ers are going to have to host their next 2 home games at State Farm Stadium, which is actually the home stadium to their rivals, the Arizona Cardinals. And during those 2 games, San Fran will be playing Buffalo and Washington. This comes after Santa Clara County released new COVID restrictions that banned all contact sports and have a mandated 14-day quarantine for anyone traveling from 150 miles away. So
it's crazy out there, people.
Without a home.
Listen, you got to make the best of it, though. Would I want to be at my rival's stadium? No, but you got to thank the Cardinals for allowing you to come in. I'm sure there was a lot of behind-the-scenes work with the NFL as an organization saying, hey, listen, you're probably the closest. I mean, maybe Las Vegas was closer. I don't know. Not great at geography. But you got to make the exception. You got to let them in. So who knows if it was the NFL or the Cardinals were come here, open arms. But listen, you got to play the games at the end of the day, and it sucks. But
and not only that, but as of yesterday, when I was reading about it, I still think they're trying to find a home. Maybe they've found it by now, but they were looking for a home too to have their practices. So they can, obviously practice in the area as well. So. I don't know for the San Fran. I've never seen a team face so much like adversity and downfalls, especially for a team coming off a Super Bowl appearance last year. But you just got to chalk it up to, we keep saying it, a weird year in the NFL. And they're playing a strong division and get their guys healthy next year and just be ready to rock next year.
Listen, I said this this past weekend when we were together. Roger Goodell, they'll practice in his backyard. He will make sure that team is ready and games are played. We said that prior to the season starting, he was going to have an NFL season. He will do anything. So if the 49ers are practicing at his home in a week or 2, I wouldn't put anything past it.
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, kudos to them. They're making it happen. A lot of people thought that it was going to shut down at some point, and they're still going, and they're doing what they have to do. And there's a lot of work behind the scenes to make that happen, and all these adjustments and moving games and postponing games. And it's a mess, but they're getting through it the best they can.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a quick sip of wine before our Week 12 thoughts. You got to cleanse the palate when you're moving from topic to topic.
I know, so much to talk about.
We do have a lot to talk about, and starting with our New York Giants. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals, thank God, 19-17. Barely came off of that win there. But this is the first time we have won 3 straight games since 2016. Okay, and a better part here, we are in first place for the NFC East. Hell to the honestly, 2020. Keep throwing it at us, baby. We got this. But unfortunately, our quarterback, Daniel Jones, did hurt his hamstring. I think it came out today that it is a strain. So it's not super serious. I did read a bunch that the doctors were saying he really did like just miss like a
serious injury.
A serious injury. I can't speak tonight. But so that's good. He wasn't seen at practice today, I believe, or it was yesterday. He wasn't there. So, but he's going to miss some time. There is some chatter too about bringing in, a quarterback to the practice squad. And I think it's because they want to avoid what happened in Denver, but they also want to make sure that maybe Colt McCoy is not the answer if something does happen to Daniel Jones. So heard rumors that they might be giving Mr. Alex Tanney a call. So Alex Tanney did back up both Eli was technically Daniel Jones' backup, but he did back up Eli for quite some time. So we are familiar with Mr. Tanney. So he didn't play much.
He's familiar with the Giants and familiar with the offense. And
so unfortunately,
Jason Garrett's offense now, but
it is a new offense, but we did obviously let him go earlier in the year because now we do have Colt McCoy. But hey, I'd bring him on again because you don't want a Denver situation. And because I don't think the Giants could ever afford something like that, or anything else in this matter.
So who we had practicing today was obviously Colt McCoy and Clayton Thurston. And then they also have Alex Tanney, like you said, coming in to take a look at him, and also Joe Webb as well.
I was going to say that they did call him as well.
In the mix, and they're just going to deal with it the best they can. Yes, are we really lucky that it wasn't a serious injury? Yeah, but hamstrings are things that even if it's not serious,
it hurts.
It can linger. So you don't want to re-aggravate it. And I do think, as much as it sucks, the best bet is to, not play Daniel in this next game. Maybe he can come back the game after. But if we are in the playoff hunt right now, which we are, you need him healthy. So
you need him healthy. Yeah. And listen, like Daniel Jones is clearly a tank. He went down, you saw him get up. It was clearly an injury, but he wanted to come back. He's got that eagerness. He's got that fight. I know. So, and truly in Giants fashion, we were blessed with Eli Manning for 16 seasons where he hurt his ankle in one season. Like and he had to go out in the fourth quarter of a game we were already winning.
Started every single game.
We were truly blessed with that. So it was a little shocking to see that. Like, I know, like we were texting back and forth, but like low key, like, I don't think I showed you how scared I was. Like, I was not okay. Not well. But we're used to many other quarterbacks going down and dealing with that, but not our own. But I think he'll be okay, and he'll be okay. Like I said, he's a tank, so I think he can get through it.
Yeah.
And we'll, guys, obviously keep you updated there. So the Cleveland Browns beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-25. To go 8-3, and they have 8+ wins for the first time since 2007. So listen, I think we've spoken about it a couple of times on the show. Like, are the Cleveland Browns the real deal? Should they move on from Baker? Like, what's going on here? So I think week after week, they are proving that. In fact, I think they're turning the corner of the real deal. I need to see how they perform in the playoffs. That's very telling.
Listen, they're going to the playoffs, and I did feel like they had one of the easiest, if not the easiest schedule in the NFL.
Yes.
And I do feel like they've got an easy schedule, so their record shows that. And I don't think they're the real deal just yet because, for example, we just said that they only beat the 1-10 Jacksonville Jaguars by 2 points.
Well, that's right, yeah.
I'm not sold yet. I think their schedule has helped them a lot. But hey, it's good for Cleveland fans that they can celebrate this because it's been a long, long, long wait. So
well, that's what I said. I think they're turning a corner for me to, come to Jesus moment that maybe they are the real deal. But I need to see the playoff play. Like that's when you really determine what a team is all about. So
absolutely.
Got to see that there. Okay, so then we have New England kicker Nick Folk kicked a game-winning 50-yard field goal as time expired to beat the Arizona Cardinals 20-17. So here you go. We just went off the record, or on the record, of saying that the Cleveland Browns, you don't think they're the real deal. I think they're turning the corner for me. This proved the Arizona Cardinals losing to this Patriots team. Yeah. I'm not sold on them for this particular reason.
They have a really interesting game coming up this weekend against the Los Angeles Rams. I think those two teams are pretty even, and they are division rivals. And I think that will be a really telling game.
You just don't lose to this season's Patriots team.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. So definitely that for sure. Oh, I lost my notes. Give me 1 second. Okay. Oh, okay. So San Francisco 49ers kicker Robbie Gould got another game-winning field goal here. 42-yarder as time expired to beat the Rams. Obviously, shockingly enough, going to go against the Cardinals next week. 23-20. So again,
Caitlin's upset pick.
I know, people. Funny enough, so I did not pay attention to any Sunday game except for the Giants because it was my birthday and I was just so invested in the Giants and they won. I was like, oh my God, yay. Barely watched another lick of football. Didn't really looked at my fantasy scores on Monday. Didn't really look at anything else. Focused on the Eagles losing on Monday. That was really it. I found out Tuesday or I think it was Tuesday or this morning that the San Francisco 49ers won. And I was like, woo!
Delayed reaction.
Complete delayed reaction. You guys just saw my reaction here live tonight. Woo! So, but again, hey, an upset's an upset. So
absolutely. Good pick.
Clearly, I had something brewing in my head there for that. So Kansas City wide receiver Tyreek Hill went off this week, 269 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns in a 27-24 win over Tampa Bay. Shocking to see those numbers, and it was only a 27-24 win.
Well, that's why I was just going to say, Tyreek Hill got them that win right there. If he didn't have that performance, that was a close game. So he got them that win. And honestly, if whoever's team he was, everybody else on your fantasy team could have had 0 points. He still would have won you your fantasy game. So Tyreek Hill, fantasy owners, you were very grateful for him this past week.
It was like Dalvin Cook the other week who had 45 points. And there was teams in general gathering 45 points together. And he was just bulldozing people around. But listen, another game, though, another loss for Tampa Bay. And I think this narrative is really interesting because you pull up whatever you're listening to in the morning, whether it's the radio, ESPN, or whatever in regards to sports, you're pulling up Twitter, and it's every other week, it's the same thing. Tampa Bay's doing good things. Tampa Bay's doing bad things. But now it's just every day you open it up, and it's bad. And they're wondering why Tampa Bay is not doing well with Tom Brady. Tampa Bay is not doing well in this area, things like that. Why is Bruce Arians not doing this? Why? And it's complete nonsense in my opinion, but I think that one of the best takes I heard was on Get Up on ESPN. And I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday, but the take was that, listen, you signed Tom Brady that didn't hand you over a Super Bowl win. So stop thinking that. So many people saw that transaction happened and they were like, Tom Brady Super Bowl. That's it. So just eliminate, stop thinking that. And that's why you wake up every morning and the narrative is different. Or you wake up after every week and it's Tampa Bay, great. Tampa Bay sucks. There is to me, they're fine.
I think they're fine too. And what I'm going to say is that I think people just need to relax because I think this team's going to make the playoffs.
Yes.
And if they do, number one, if your team makes the playoffs, who cares what happened in the regular season? You made the playoffs. That's number one. Number two is, I believe once they make the playoffs, that you do have Tom Brady. And if anybody has more playoff experience, nobody has more playoff experience than him. And I feel just don't hit the panic button, people. He's not going to go 16-0. You know what I mean?
Ooh, he threw an interception. Wow. Guess what? He's 40 years old. He's going to throw a pick.
I think people can relax. Let him get to the playoffs and see what happens, but just chill out, honestly.
Oh, for sure. So obviously in Denver, we had that ginormous quarterback debacle. So they had a total of 91 gross passing yards. Oh no. The fewest since 1982 and had one completion for 2 interceptions.
It's crazy. You know what sucks about that? Katie's upset pick was the Broncos over the Saints. And this was before I knew this quarterback debacle was happening.
It's the Rona. She'll get you. She's a little bitch. And I can't, honestly, the numbers are bad. I can only I laugh right now and I don't want to, because obviously the kid that they pulled up to be the quarterback, I give him all the credit in the world. Like, imagine getting a phone call and it's like, dude, like, you're on the practice squad and you're not a quarterback, but you're going to play quarterback for us today. And I know he had experience in the past, but I'm talking about an NFL quarterback is different from, hey, I played quarterback my sophomore year of high school. Like, that doesn't correlate. Like,
you know who got brought in now though? Offensive coordinator for the Broncos is Pat Shurmur, and they've brought in Pat Shurmur's son. So he was a quarterback in college. He came out in this year's draft, didn't get drafted, signed with somebody. I don't think it was originally the Broncos, but they're bringing him in. And listen, it was just a tough thing to deal with. And it wasn't just the kid that they named the starting quarterback. Like, it really was a whole puzzle piece. They were doing a lot of wildcat runs with running backs. It was just a weird game. But what I can say is, like, Giants played at 1. Great, they won. And then the 4:00 games, I get a little tired. I get a little not so interested. This was like must-watch football. It was like a science experiment that you had to watch.
Yeah. So, and listen, I don't know what the future beholds, because, hey, this could happen to any team right now. You don't know what's going on, but
that's a preview of our game.
Giving you a little sneak peek, because we're looking at many a team. So it could happen to anyone, and we'll give you guys a little light if it happens to anyone. But let's go into our picks, because those are all the thoughts we have for week 12.
I can't even believe that we are going to week 13. This is unbelievable. This season is flying, but we are going to give you our week 13 picks, plus one lock, one upset, as we always do. Caitlin, why don't you kick us off?
So I got to tell you, like, this week was like a little tricky, I feel. And I definitely picked more upsets in my opinion, but I'm going to give you guys like my true upset, like, so you'll see. So, and I'm doing it from NFL.com, so don't worry. So, I am going with the Tennessee Titans, the Jets, Vikings, Dolphins, Colts, Bears, Falcons, the New York Giants, the Cardinals, the Chargers, the Packers, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Buffalo Bills. And to wrap up the week on a Tuesday, I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens.
I got to know, is the Giants or the Jets your upset pick?
Listen, the Giants are not an upset pick. They are an upset pick. They're not my upset pick. Okay. If anything, after Monday night, the Seattle Seahawks prove that they are beatable. So
we're probably not going to have Daniel Jones.
Okay, Katie. I'm optimistic. I'm just being.
If Colt McCoy can beat Russell Wilson, I'm here for it, girl.
Literally. Write it down in the history books. No, so my upset is the Jets over the Raiders, because come on, it's going to happen, people.
The Raiders are sketch. They're so weird.
They are sketch, and I think a couple weeks back, I gave them all the credit in the world, because I was like, I'm so sorry I put you at the end of my list. But lately, again, they're getting kind of sketchy again, so I'm not really sure what to do. What is that in my face? And then my lock is the Kansas City Chiefs over the Broncos, because who the hell knows what's going on in Denver? And obviously the Chiefs are really good. So putting that aside, the Chiefs are really good.
One of the there's not many constants in the league this year. They're pretty steady. So my week 13 picks, I am going with Tennessee, the Raiders, Minnesota, Miami, the Colts, Detroit, the Saints, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Chargers, the Packers, the Chiefs, the Steelers, Buffalo and Baltimore. My lock, it worked for me last week. I'm taking Green Bay over the Philadelphia Eagles.
Pray for it.
My upset is the Chargers over the New England Patriots. I really believe in this Chargers team a lot. Like, I honestly think they're so much better than 2 wins. And Justin Herbert, in my opinion, and I know Joe Burrow, he looked great before his injury. I actually think Justin Herbert has looked even better. I'm really impressed by him. I think this is a legit team. They've got a lot of playmakers, and I'm expecting them to, like, you know how I felt like this year Denver was going to be my dark horse and Drew Lock was going to be great. Like, I feel like the Chargers can do that next year and be.
I think they're taking that. Yeah, they're taking that position over from you. So you gave the Broncos that dark horse, role. I think the Chargers are moving into that role for you right now. Yeah, I agree. Like when we said, like before the season, like Joe Burrow was going to be the kid that we're going to like to watch over the next couple of years. He's going to be an exciting kid. And he truly was for the games that he's played. Yeah. But Justin Herbert kind of comes out of nowhere. And I think we had spoken about him prior and like said that we were going to be excited about it. Listen, it's even more so now. So
absolutely.
Definitely excited about that.
I think he's going to be Rookie of the Year. I do. So
yeah,
there's other guy, there's James Robinson. He's been phenomenal too, but Justin Herbert has been really great.
I can get behind it for sure. Alrighty, so those are our week thoughts for the NFL and also our picks. But we are getting into our big stories of the week for Housewives now. Stick around though if you're a football fan because we have a great game later.
Yes.
So we are talking about a Housewives relationship updates. We got 2 for you, 2 for 1, the 2 for 1 special here. So first one, kind of sad. Second one, kind of good. So on Monday, Megan King Edmonds took to her Instagram account to confirm the split from her boyfriend Christian after 6 months of dating. Listen, I don't know if it's just me. 6 months seems such a short amount of time when you're older.
As in, like, you felt they should have given it more of a chance? Or
like when you were younger and dating, maybe when you were like in 7th or 8th grade, you would date for like 2 months and it was like the longest thing ever. When you're like older, like I think 6 months.
To play devil's advocate, when you do get older, you are more aware of things that
what you want
like and you don't like. So maybe at first it seemed good, and then when things were like no, it was like, why waste each other's time? We are grown adults. I do have kids, and it was just like, move on.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. So we do have a quote from her, but she did also just so like for the you go girl. She did confirm recently she did buy a house and she's going to move in by herself. So here is the quote from Megan. So after a terrible split from my ex-husband, I learned how to heal. I then met and dated a wonderful man, Christian. We laughed, went on adventures, made a long-distance relationship a thing of beauty, grew together, and then, we grew apart. I think people come into our lives for a reason, and Christian was no exception. I don't know. This makes me definitely kind of sad.
But that's like such an adult response, like I appreciate the time we spent together, but it's not going to work and we'll move on and I'll think of you fondly. You know what I mean?
I know. I just I don't know. Maybe I'm just like a big baby and like take things like super emotionally. Like I feel like I'm breaking up with them right now. Like it just makes me sad because 6 months is like to me it seems like a short time, but it is also a long time to invest with someone because like the first year of dating someone is usually very exciting, very similar to the first year of marriage. It's just I don't know. There's a lot and it's exciting and it's like. For it to come crashing down like that quick, I don't know. So I don't know.
I think we can feel happy for her though that sometimes when you're going through something so hard as she did with that divorce, maybe he really was just meant to be there to be somebody to lean on during a really hard time. Yeah. And she's probably just really grateful that she had him during that because that was probably a pretty dark time, and she had him, and she can be grateful for that.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, though, we did read some of those speculations where it was because of Jim because he's a douche. So it's because of their icky relationship. And also, too, we heard that thing about it's because she didn't take coronavirus seriously. And if you guys know, she did get, she did test positive for COVID. And it just, to me, I mean, I read everything that she posted about her getting it. And to me, it seems, people could be lying. But to me, she's got young kids. I really don't think she was putting them at risk. Like, come on, like,
there's so many people that get it and just were like, I don't know how I got it because I was following all the protocols. So like, it just, it happens.
Yeah. Oh, well, I wish her well. I wish, he seems like a great guy. So I wish him well also.
I think she'll be okay.
Maybe they just need time apart. Maybe they'll reconnect. There's so many people that take the time and maybe come back later on. So they did seem really cute together and they seemed like they were bonding. So, hey. You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
So Oki, and she also did vote on our story saying that he was cuter than Jim. And we all know that. So she's probably listening right now. All right. So moving into a happier story for our girl, Luann.
Love you, Lou.
It is. Well, I'm a little actually upset because like she has someone, like she's ours, clearly. Why is she going out and dating on real? She has recently confirmed that she is dating a new man, a South African personal trainer named Garth. She met on a dating app. Oh, baby. Listen, they could be successful for some people. So I dig the fact that she was on it. I wonder, but he was also previously married for 15 years. And we obviously know Luann had, couple marriages, couple relationships. So, and then she has admitted that she likes, because he has, the experience and that, she finds that very helpful. So, all right. I don't know what quote unquote very helpful means in the experience department.
Oh, Lou, you bad girl.
Oh, you bad girl. So the quote is that he's a very interesting guy who used to play rugby for England. He's 6'6". Oof. Listen, I'm swooning at the fact that he's 6'6", but Luann, guys, is a giant. So
Luann needs 6'6". Luann in person, like you guys have no idea. She's so much taller than she looks on TV. She's a tall woman.
And I feel like the heels she was wearing when we met her both times, like weren't that big. And I was like, hey. And the ones I were wearing were like this big.
Yeah.
And I'm tall. Like I'm a tall girl.
Tall, yeah.
Nah, she's a
yeah, she needs 6'6".
And like, whoo, baby, 6'6", and is tall and blonde and blue-eyed. So, and she said he's pretty manly. He's been in the army and he's a real guy. I saw the pictures of him and I was like, ooh, he is too good to be true. So listen, I love the fact that, she met him on a dating app. I would love to know which one that she met him on because it's funny.
Would love to see her profile, right?
I know. What if it's a picture of us with her? I would shit my pants.
You're gonna get my fans.
But she looks good in the pictures we have with her. Like real good.
Yeah, she does.
Totally use those pictures on her dating profile. But it's funny. I've heard stories before, I think Zac Efron. There's a couple other people that were on dating apps, and some people thought they were fake accounts, and were reporting.
Who didn't think that was fake though?
Hey, listen, I guess in maybe some famous people really want to just meet your average Joe
person, yeah.
And I don't know, but Lou, I gotta know what dating app she was on. That's great. Maybe there's some secret, I don't know.
One.
Yeah. Well, he's not a celeb. He's just a tall, blonde, and handsome rugby player.
Definitely look like Lou's type. Somebody Lou would go after, but
yeah. Good for her. Good for you.
Good for her.
Good for her.
Our second big story of the week, we do officially have a premiere date for The Real Housewives of Dallas season 5. It has officially been announced that they will be back on January 5th. Brandy, Deandra, Cameron, Carrie, and Stephanie will all be back along with Jennifer as a friend. But they will now be joined by a new housewife. She is a physician, and her name is Tiffany Moon. Mm-hmm. Tiffany was born in a small town outside of Beijing. She moved to the U.S. at age 6, and this is where she gets very, very impressive. She graduated college at 19. She graduated med school at 23, where she finished in the top 10% of her class. She is the mother to 5-year-old twin girls, and she does get introduced to the group by Deandra. Obviously, we always wonder, like, who do you know? Who's bringing you in? But yeah, she's a newbie on the block. Very impressive. You know, obviously her resume proves that she's clearly a very intelligent woman.
She's very pretty. If you guys go on Instagram, she's like, the introduction of her is like, she's in this like long red sleek dress. She's a very beautiful woman. 5-year-old twin girls though.
And being a doctor and being on Real Housewives. I don't know if someone does that.
G bless. Just the twin girls alone, like G bless.
But you know what? This is becoming a norm on the franchises. Yeah. Almost every single season, they're bringing in somebody new. And there was a really long, rough patch for Bravo where these newbies were one and dones. They really weren't good. They really didn't stick. And I feel like they're definitely making a little bit of a turn. They also have a new franchise with Salt Lake City that I've honestly really been enjoying and, obviously tuning in every week. And I really like it. So I feel they're finding success, and this is just the newest, freshest face, and we'll see how she does. You know, Atlanta's premiering this weekend. Yeah. They have a newbie as well, and we'll see how it goes for these rooks.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I'm not the biggest Dallas fan. I've tried it many a times. It's like, I don't know. It's like you with Bloody Marys. You try it all the time. You don't end up liking it.
I so far to like it.
Because it's true. I really try to like all the franchises because, you know, because there's days where Orange County in New York piss me off. And I'm like, oh, you guys are so annoying. Yeah. Or the reunion's 4 episodes long and I'm so stressed from a stupid reality show reunion. But I try really hard. And, you know, listen, maybe this new girl will make it better. I don't know. I think right now Salt Lake City is the best medicine for me because it's just fresh.
I'm really enjoying it. It's so different from anything
and it's good
before.
Oh, it is.
I can't wait I know, like, we gave our first initial reactions, and I feel like we're definitely gonna have to give like a mid-season reaction and end of season reaction. There's a lot to talk about with that one. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, well, we are going to go a little bit off the cuff here before we get into our game. We do want to give a couple more Housewives stories that honestly broke after we had prepped for the show. But we obviously knew we had to talk about them because they're 3 bombs, honestly.
Breaking.
These are breaking. I'll let you take this first one. How about with Erica and what's going on with her and this divorce that we recently talked about on the show?
Yeah, so basically her and her husband, who she's allegedly divorcing, they're being sued because basically the divorce is a fraud. He's a very successful lawyer, but basically they're going behind the scenes and showing that his law firm and everything that he is accountable for is actually like in shambles and kind of going under. So basically, listen, I'm not really I'm not smart with like the monies and legal allegations and things like that. But apparently, like, they're being sued because Erica filed for divorce to basically save him from to showcase that, he has the money or things like that. It's pretty eye-opening, though, because from this, they've been able to uncover, Erica's lavish life. It's cost her over $40,000 a month to keep up with her glamour and beauty. And I was texting Katie earlier. She has that quote-unquote creative director that follows her around. So I can only assume that that's his salary. And I want to be like, dude, if I'm your little bitch and I'm following you around, you got to pay me more than $40,000 to dress you up and do your thing. So, but that's what you can only assume that's it. That's what he does for her. So a lot of other disturbing things have come out too. I think his his firm was defending the clients of that Lion airline that crashed recently. So obviously everyone on board passed away, and it was all the family's victims. All the money was taken away from them. So it's a lot of disturbing stuff is coming up. So yeah, just that's the breaking news, that apparently the divorce is a fraud, and they did it just to basically save his ass. So
unbelievable. Unreal. You can't make this shit up, honestly.
The richest people in the world are usually the shadiest
have the craziest secrets and skeletons in their closets and all that crazy.
So listen, if I can continue with my life where I am right now, comfortable and not a shady bitch, I'm good.
Okay. Other things we have, obviously, we got this question. We are going to discuss the fact that, we've been talking about Bronwyn a lot on the show. Yeah. What's going on with her? Is she going to be getting a divorce?
Yeah.
Her and her husband have said, no, like, we're staying together. We're just separate. I don't know. They're all over the place. And then the bombshell drops today. She comes out and announces that she's a lesbian. And she decided to come out. I think she's 43. I think she said, like, at 43 years old, like, I can be myself and be happy, and I'm a lesbian. And good for her. Blew my mind, though. I didn't think that that's what it was, because things were so weird with her and her husband kind of being like, he's not living with me, but we're still together and we're not going to get divorced. And it was like, what does that mean? Like, I don't understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really weird about it. And I get that this was like a big thing. And apparently they're still not going to get divorced, though.
They're not. They're going to remain married. And he has met. So she is with someone. So she does have a girlfriend. So we did report on that a couple weeks back, because there was, the rumor mill out that she was with someone.
Yeah.
So that was my first suspicion, because it was, and not that I'm suspect of it. I'm just saying, like, what I was thinking about, because it was coming out that she was with someone, but a lot of the stories were like, we don't know the gender of this person, or like, we don't know if it's a man or a woman. So I was like, why would articles be publishing that? That just it's like weird, in my opinion. And then I just, and then I was like, I thought about it, and I was like, oh, like, she's probably bisexual, because her and her husband have an open marriage to where they've had multiple threesomes in their life, and they're open about it. There's no assumptions. Like, it's out in the open. So I was like, oh, she's probably bisexual. Like, whatever. She's clearly slept with women before. But now, so now she's like formally out, like, as gay. She's as a lesbian. And she strictly said, like, she only likes women. So that was like in her post.
That's great. And I'm happy for her. I do not understand then why you would stay married to your husband. Now it just makes me think creepy things, like, you used to gift him threesomes and have threesomes.
Yeah.
Does he just think that he's going to be in this throuple, like, relationship with you? I
think that's a good point. And he is a little creepy.
Like, if she only likes women, like, I don't know what that says, that you're not getting divorced from your husband.
Yeah. So I definitely question that for sure. And, it's also been out that, the girlfriend has met him. She's over the house all the time. Like, she's very much involved in the family. So, and then you take into account too, like, everything that we, discussed with the daughter posting that thing on Instagram. It's kind of, it's a little confusing. So
really messy.
It definitely is messy, but again, listen, good for her. Get out there.
Life that makes you happy. I'm just puzzled by the fact that if you only like women, why on earth are you staying married to your husband? It feels like she came out and said, I'm going to live my true life and be my true self. Well, if your true self only likes women, why? It feels like your true self, like being married to a man, is a sham. So I don't know.
I think that's a fair point.
But listen, again, happy for her. To each their own. God bless.
Good for you. Good for her.
Find love, is a great thing. But we got to see how this plays out. I hope she gets divorced. I honestly do. If that's really how she feels, then I hope she gets divorced.
Yeah. I mean, at this point,
I know and I know it's complicated and everything like that. Right. But if you want to move forward and be your true self and live your best life, like, I think you need to end that.
Yep.
And then last but not least, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills breaking today. Kyle, Dorit, and Kathy Hilton all tested positive for COVID.
They got the Rona.
I have read that their symptoms are minor and hopefully they'll be okay. But I mean, honestly, it's just
they're filming right now. So
right. So it's another big deal because of that as well.
They need to make a big of a deal as they do with the NFL. We had to see contact tracing. I want to see everything. So
you know what they should have done, honestly? Like, I don't know if you still watch Jersey Shore or not, but I have been. And they basically, to stay like all together in quarantine, like Pauly D rented out a whole hotel just for them. And so it's just them filming there. I feel like they could have done that with Housewives. Imagine what TV that would make if you cooped up all the Housewives in one gigantic hotel, like just them. It would be hilarious.
Well, that's what they're doing.
That they'd probably all be safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's what they're doing with like The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. So, I mean, obviously they're all cooped in the house anyway, but they always do like those like events outside of the house. Right. Clearly they can't do that right now. So it's very, very intimate. That's why that girl fell in love with the guy in like day 2 because she was forced to be with him for like 84.
MTV's The Challenge. I mean, they're remote on their own anyways. So all they had was, if you're coming on this season, quarantine for 2 weeks, then fly out and we'll see you there. And then it's just going to be us in this little bubble. So
yeah, they should have. But hey, there was nothing out of New Jersey and they filmed. So what's going on in Beverly Hills?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It makes for like we said recently on the show, it makes for interesting reality TV because now you're seeing all of these episodes where like people are actually going through quarantine. It's being filmed. Yeah. A lot of
that's how Orange County is right now.
Mom, for example, like they've got their camcorders and they're filming themselves because production shut down. So we're seeing a lot of that, and it's honestly interesting how it's being handled.
Yeah, I mean,
post-traumatic stress disorder. Like when you see, like when it was like first cracking down, it was like, oh God, like. Still dark times, but those were really, really, really dark times.
Well, funny enough, so Orange County is like in the middle of the pandemic. So like it's like right when it happened. So like they're entering it right now. Technically, what was that sound? Oh God, we're live. There's noises coming outside of my house. I hope no one's breaking into my house.
We all say
no, seriously, call the police if I get murdered. But it'll be live. So like they're at the height of it, and they're at, shockingly enough, Brawwyn's vow renewal. And I forget where they are actually in the country, but the new girl, and I always blank on her name, is, making a comment because they were like, oh, like, wow, 30 deaths already from the coronavirus. And she goes, listen, she was like, this is big pharma's like narrative. Like this will be gone in 2 weeks. They're just trying to get a vaccine. So this is like in March. And here we are a year later and like watching it. People went in on her on Twitter and it was just like, well, yeah because like here we are like over like almost a year later and like, damn girl, that comment didn't age well.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah.
Crazy week in the world of Housewives.
Quite so. Same with football. And I think it will continue to get crazier and crazier as we end this year of 2020. Holy guacamole. We are so close to the end, and maybe 2021 will get better. But in regards to 2020, all the stuff that's been thrown our way, we were not expecting the Denver Broncos to lose out on 4 of their quarterbacks. Some teams only had 2, some had 3. Listen, this team had 4, and guess what? They all got quarantined because they were all way too close to each other. So what would you do if you were the bad news Broncos? So Katie and I are looking at all 32 teams and deciding, listen, who's going to play quarterback if we had a very similar situation to that? So I don't know how you played this game, but for me personally, all bets, like everything was off the table. Like everything was off the table.
It's funny because I knew you were going to play it that way, and I played it very seriously. Like I'm not putting offensive lineman as quarterback. Like I went realistic with it, but I knew you were going to like throw crazy people in.
I didn't put a lineman on the table. Don't worry. But
all right.
All bets were off, and bets were off. Like even like I think there might be a couple of people that are injured on my list. So I do
have a couple of people who are banged up as well. It's just kind of like in the grand scheme of things, if they ever face this,
I had some fun with it. And I think my first one's particularly fun. So we are going to go. So we'll start with the AFC and then we'll move into the NFC. And we'll just go team by team. We do realize that this is long. We got 32 teams and there's 2 of us. So we'll kind of go through it. If you do have reasoning, let us know. If you don't.
Yeah, I only have a couple that have like little baby reasoning. But other than that, we could be pretty rapid fire.
Yeah, mine are pretty. You'll see, they're kind of funny. So starting with the AFC, the Baltimore Ravens. Who you got?
I went with wide receiver Willie Snead.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. And I said, screw it all. Put Justin Tucker in there because it doesn't matter if you make field goals at this point because the Ravens are like kind of meh. They lost tonight, so they're not even in the playoff hunt anymore. Guy plays the piano. He's probably got great hands. Throw him in there.
I'm about it.
All right, let's go with the Buffalo Bills.
This is a guy, sometimes they use him on trick plays and he can throw it downfield. I went with wide receiver Cole Beasley.
As did I, and they used him this past weekend. It was very successful, so keep it up. Cincinnati Bengals, who you got?
I went with another wide receiver here, Tyler Boyd.
I went with the big boy, and I went with Mr. Sam Hubbard. Get him in there. All right, the Cleveland Browns.
Listen, if Odell wasn't hurt, he can throw the ball really well, but I went with his counterpart, a guy who can throw just as well, wide receiver Jarvis Landry.
You can literally use Landry or Odell, and I actually went with Odell. And I know he's pretty banged up, but we've seen both of them throw the ball, so go ahead and pick either of them. Browns, you'll be okay. Yep. Let's go with the Denver Broncos, who actually need someone right now.
I hope you didn't skip this team because the order I have was Houston next.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Do you have? No. Did you?
I have Denver and then I have Houston after.
Oh, the reason I don't have Denver is because I didn't pick one for them because they were literally in this scenario. So we saw what happened. I didn't pick one.
Well, I think they should test out Mr. Noah Fant, your tight end.
Wait, that's funny that you say that because I did pull up the roster and I started to pick one and I was going to pick Noah Fant. And then I said, wait, why am I picking one for the Broncos? And I kind of eliminated them out of the game. But yeah, I would have gone with Noah Fant as well.
Good. Houston Texans.
This one makes complete sense. I went with wide receiver Randall Cobb. He played quarterback in college for Kentucky.
I said F it on this one, 2 and through, and J.J. Watt. No one's taking his ass down. Toss it, baby.
All right.
All right, let's go to the Indianapolis Colts.
I went with wide receiver Michael Pittman.
And I'm going with their tight end, Trey Burton.
Okay.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
I went with a tight end here. I went with Tyler Eifert.
And I went with Laviska Shenault Jr.
Okay.
We're going to see a lot of wide receivers in the mix.
Yeah, no, I went on that
because it makes sense. Yeah.
Wide receivers, tight ends, and if I did go defensively, cornerbacks. So yeah, that's what we got.
So Kansas City Chiefs, mine's actually pretty funny.
I went with wide receiver Sammy Watkins.
So I'm going with Tyreek Hill only because he came out recently and said he saw Patrick Mahomes on tape and thought he was trash. So listen, Tyreek, suit up. You're next. You are playing quarterback, my friend.
He wouldn't be able to see over the offensive lineman. He's too tiny.
But you are going in. All right, let's go with the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going Jason Witten. I am.
I went with a Bama boy. I went wide receiver Henry Ruggs.
Ooh, that is a good one. He would do really well. You'll see a couple Bama boys on my list as well, just because I think Nick Saban puts in that mentality for them to, just in case something happens. I went with Jason Witten, though, and you'll see this. It's pretty common on my list of things. I also went with a lot of veterans in the NFL because they've been around many quarterbacks in their life. Sitting down, chit-chatting, doing all these things, whether they're defending them, whether they're receiving from them. So they kind of got a good head on their shoulders.
Things up over the years, yeah.
So you never know with them. Alrighty, let's go with the Los Angeles Chargers.
My first defensive player on my list. I'm going with cornerback Chris Harris.
Oh, no, I went defense too, but I went Mr. Joey Bosa.
Oh, okay.
I want to see what these Bosa brothers can do for me. All right, let's go with Miami.
I went with a tight end here. I went with tight end Mike Gesicki.
I went with Devontae Parker. Listen, guy is 6'3", 200 pounds. I think that's a good a good solid QB for you.
Yeah,
so
honestly, like I pulled up the rosters for each of these, and definitely I looked at height and weight for some of my answers too.
I looked at hand size too.
If you have like a 6'5", like 2 whatever, like that's a quarterback size. So some of these guys fit that mold.
For sure. New England Patriots. I hope we have the same one here because it was kind of obvious.
Easiest one on the list. Wide receiver Julian Edelman. He played quarterback in college for Kent State.
I went with Jacoby Myers because they've already used him as a special quarterback. So
Julian Edelman strictly played quarterback in college.
Well, you know what? I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers. So I'm being special there. So the New York Jets.
I went with wide receiver Chris Hogan.
I put down on my sheet literally anybody. Because at this point, it does not matter. You can put Adam Gase in. Like, it does not matter. It literally does not matter for the New York Jets. All righty, for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I went wide receiver here. I went with Mr. Juju Smith-Schuster.
I went with Juju as well, or either of the Watt brothers. So I'm putting all 3 Watt brothers into the mix this game. But I did go with Juju too. And then finally, let's top off the AFC and let's go with the Tennessee Titans.
Another wide receiver here with Corey Davis.
This is me in my fictional universe when nothing matters and
Derrick
nothing.
Henry.
I went with Derrick Henry because he's going to QB sneak that shit all the time. And guess what? Who's going to get him down? Nobody. Some of my picks have been serious. Some of them not so serious. I'm trying to have fun with this game.
I like it. There's a good mix. Some of them
have been good. All right, let's move into the NFC. Let's go with the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm starting with a defensive player for the NFC here. I'm going with cornerback Patrick Peterson.
Oh, good one. And I'm going with Mr. Larry Fitzgerald for the same reason I went with Jason Witten. He's been around for a long time. Hey, him and Eli are like BFF, so maybe he's picked up a couple things or two from Mr. Eli. I don't know. All right, Atlanta Falcons.
I went with wide receiver Calvin Ridley.
And I think that's a great pick. And I was literally looking at the wide receiver gang, but I'm going Alabama here with Mr. Julio Jones.
All right.
Listen, both a little hurt. Listen, Julio Jones is like questionable every week, so just toss him in at quarterback. It's fine. Let's go with the Carolina Panthers.
I think this is the shortest person I put at quarterback because I was really not going to put people like under 6 foot. But this guy's your Swiss Army knife. I went with running back Christian McCaffrey.
Definitely a good one there. And I went with Mr. Julian Stanford.
Okay.
Alrighty, let's go with the Chicago Bears.
I went with wide receiver Cordarrelle Patterson.
Good one. And I went with, can't speak. I went with Mr. Pat O'Donnell. Alrighty, the Dallas Cowboys.
I went defense again here. I went with safety Clinton Dix.
I got to tell you, I love Clinton Dix so much.
He's underrated.
Okay, thank you, because I don't think anyone agrees with me on that one.
He's a journeyman. He's bounced around from team to team. I don't know why nobody tried to really peg him down and keep him long term.
Thank you. When the Packers got rid of him and I was like, wait, where were the Giants in that mix? Because I would have snatched him so hard. Including maybe a biased opinion because I'm a Bama girl, but I've known him for a very long time. And side note from this game,
I have an unbiased opinion, so and I agree with you on that. So
love him, sure. And then I went with another Bama boy. I went with Mr. Amari Cooper here on this one. Just tie-ins.
I went tight end here. I went with Mr. TJ Hawkinson.
And I went running back with veteran Adrian Peterson.
Peterson is actually much taller than I thought he was. On their roster, I think he was listed at 6'1", which is really tall for a running back.
Absolutely.
I didn't realize.
And hey, been around the game for a very long time. He's picked up some things. Get him in there. Let's go with the Green Bay Packers.
So funny enough, looking at their roster, they definitely have the tallest wide receivers in the NFL.
Yeah.
All their main guys are 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". I was like, holy cow, you couldn't pick any of them. But I went with Alan Lazard. He's 6'5", 227. That's a good QB size. Yeah,
so I'm going to give me another kicker here. I'm going with Mason Crosby.
I love it.
Some of them are serious. Okay. Let's go with the Los Angeles Rams.
I went defense. I went with cornerback Jalen Ramsey.
So did I. We got it.
Ooh, we matched.
Did we have a match before or just the first one?
No, we had 2 before.
Oh, did we? I don't know. Yeah. So listen, I think it's more so because he's a cornerback, I think your best cornerbacks are tall and skinny, and he is tall and skinny, but he's also got some spunk to him too. I think he's a huge piece of shit, but he could. Yeah, definitely be good there. All right, let's go with the Minnesota Vikings.
I went with somebody, and funny enough, I picked my person, and then I read an article that head coach Mike Zimmer said, if we got in this scenario with the Broncos, what the Broncos did, this is our emergency quarterback, and it's who I picked. So it's wide receiver Adam Thielen. He is their emergency.
That's who I
Yeah. He is their emergency quarterback. So
I see him get on the field. I don't immediately think of him as a quarterback, but as I looked at pictures and looked at kind of like a couple of video clips, because that's kind of what I looked at too when doing this game, because like quarterbacks just have that like that vibe and that like mojo. You kind of like look at them.
I can see him being a quarterback.
So that's why I picked him 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go with the New Orleans Saints.
I went with tight end Josh Hill.
And I went with wide receiver, Mr. Michael Thomas. So again, just an easy pick with the wide receiver. Good player. See what you got there. All righty. And we are now with the New York Giants.
Somebody that we use in trick plays who can definitely throw it down the field. I went with wide receiver Golden Tate.
That's exactly who I went with too. And we used him on Sunday, and it was god awful, a dumpster fire. Please don't try that again.
We used to have Odell who would do a lot of trick plays for us and throw it down the field. And now not as many, but we do have Golden Tate that does that for us as well.
All right, so let's go with the Philadelphia Eagles.
I went with wide receiver Dallas Goedert.
And I went with tight end Zach Ertz because he is just off the inactive list or the IR list, whatever he was on. And listen, I
almost went with him as well.
You have so many issues that could just throw someone in there. Just throw someone in there. San Francisco 49ers.
Just a guy who I can imagine playing any position, offense or defense, tight end George Kittle.
And I went with Deebo Samuel.
Ooh, okay.
The Seattle Seahawks.
I went with, if I'm going off of Caitlin's veteran status here, I went with tight end Greg Olsen.
I think that's great. And I put at first, and you'll see on my paper, I wrote snacks. And I go, haha, just kidding, in parentheses. I literally wrote that to myself, but I truly do love snacks. And he did tweet out after the win. He goes, that was for you, Big Blue.
Oh, love him. Wow.
And then someone tweeted back, well, you better lose again next week.
I love him so much.
I know. I don't want to have to face him next week. No. I love him so much. But then in reality, I did put DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett. All right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I didn't think there was that many great options. So this is kind of size-wise. I went with wide receiver Mike Evans.
That's exactly who I went with too. And I was just kind of like, whatever, throw him in there. And then finally, to wrap this up, the Washington football team.
This was another guy that played quarterback in college for Virginia Tech. So I went with tight end Logan Thomas.
Good one. I just went with Antonio Gibson here.
Yeah, he's definitely killing it for them. So
that was a fun game, and I honestly hope that all NFL coaches are listening to this podcast because we just gave you the best suggestions ever. So.
Put in Mason Crosby at quarterback.
Listen, don't knock it till you try it. Don't.
I think that was my favorite one.
It was a good. I knew I could make you laugh on a couple.
Great game. That point in the night where we were going to get it off our chest. Positive, negative, football, housewives, life, wine, Christmas. We're in December, baby.
Christmas.
Give us what you got.
Oh my goodness. So mine is just short and sweet and to the point. But if you follow us on social media, I did celebrate my 29th birthday this past Sunday. It's my golden year. I am 29 on 29. So it's funny. I've been imagining this birthday for so long and thought it would be this big like extravaganza. And then coronavirus was like, F your birthday. But despite everything that's going on, I had an incredible weekend, like super great. And just want to call out my family and friends, especially Katie too. A lot of like the gifts that I received were, not only being with everyone, like I got to spend time with my family. I got to spend time with Katie and her husband, my boyfriend, like everyone. It was just great to be around people to celebrate my birthday. But a lot of the gifts that I received were totally geared towards football and housewives. And I'm just like so excited I always love adding stuff into like everything that I have already. So,
well, now I know I got to get you a housewives ornament since you don't have one. That's the next. That's
on the list. But I know we spoke about it 2 weeks ago, but Katie did get me the cameo from License Plate Guy, and I died, and it was so great. I watch it like every day because it's so amazing. We're going to get him on the podcast. I do promise that for sure. And she got me the Housewives wine, which is so crazy. I love it so much. My sister, look at these earrings. These are my new New York Giants earrings. So I'm going to wear them all the time. Absolutely love them. My aunt actually got me a nice, very nice Giants hoodie, but she also passed down to me her original, like vintage Carl Banks leather New York Giants jacket. And it's probably the best gift like ever. And inside the pockets were her and my grandma like always went to games. And inside the left pocket are all the tickets that they've ever gone to a game to. So, and my grandma has passed, like I brought it up earlier, truly means a lot to me. And like, oh, holy guacamole, but Carl Banks makes some decent apparel. So very happy there. And then kind of too, I feel like I might be forgetting something, but to like wrap things up, like my boyfriend got me a signed Tua Tagovailoa jersey. When I tell you I opened this gift and like cried, and he was like, "Why are you crying?" Like, stop! Like, you're embarrassing me. I couldn't control myself. Like, it was one of those things. Like, oh my god! Like, to know that like he like touched that jersey. So what we're going to do actually, so if you guys can see behind me, it's probably, so everyone on the podcast, sorry, I'm like pointing in my house right now. So on the one wall there, that is a signed OCU Manura poster, which is like OCU is my favorite New York Giant. So in that blank space, like where I'm pointing to right now, we are going to frame the Tua jersey, and that is where that is going to go. And I'm so excited. And I just, again, phenomenal weekend despite everything that was going on. Wrapped it up with a Giants tailgate with my family and friends.
And then a Giants win.
And I am just...
Girl, I think you probably have one of the best COVID birthdays.
I think I can confirm that. I'm just so thankful for everything. And obviously, Katie, thank you so much for being the best co-host, the best friend out there. So you made the birthday one of the best ones ever. So
thank you. Well, listen, I say we because I know Caitlin stands with me on this one, and we love shouting out women in sports because oftentimes we don't get a lot of credit. Maybe people don't think we know what we're talking about or know what we're doing and this and that and third. So anytime we can give a shout out to women in sports, we love to do so. A lot of you did hear that Vanderbilt kicker, Sarah Fuller, she was playing for the Vanderbilt football team. She made college football history on Saturday. I can't talk. I've had too much of my time now. Becoming the first
We've all been there.
to play in a Power 5 game. She handled second half kickoff duties, and I love it. The back of her helmet said, "Play like a girl." She was repping for all of us. And she's actually a goalkeeper on Vanderbilt's women's soccer team. I do believe she's playing again this upcoming weekend. I think I saw.
She just won like a national championship with the soccer team.
And you know what? Vanderbilt's playing somebody really like legit this weekend, I think too. So it's like a big game, and she's gonna be a part of it. And I think that's amazing. And I love it.
I just hope she can kick a field goal. Like she did the kickoff. Like
she didn't have the opportunity to kick a field goal. I know.
Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, just let her in that opportunity to shine. But she already shines in my book, and that's huge. Yeah. And for two girls who absolutely love football,
good for her.
Like she's out there. She's out there for all of us. So. Love it. And I'm excited to see her continue and to go out this weekend and hopefully kill it again. And she can do no wrong in our books. We're
Yeah.
just really proud and really excited and happy for her. So
yeah, I'll always remember. I forget. I think I don't know what year it was, but like I think my sister was in high school and her gym teacher like was the football coach, and like she like made a comment like, watch out for my sister, like she might be your next like football like player or something.
I was gonna say, I thought your sister wanted to try out for the football team as a kicker.
I don't think my sister wanted to do that.
I don't know why I made that up, but
no.
I thought
She was just saying like, watch out. Listen, I would probably never try.
I gotta
out for
confirm with her after the show. I feel like there was something. She tried to join one of the boys' sports teams in high school.
She probably did, to be honest. But
this is a thing.
Definitely a thing. But yeah, I mean, truly amazing. I'd love to see her to get more opportunities, though. Obviously, just a big, and like people can laugh at it as much as they want. Big step for her just to step on the field, do the punt. But I want her to get in the position, do the kick, things like that. Yeah. Obviously, a lot of trolls out there like, what if she gets hit? Blah, blah, blah. Good, let her get hit then. Like, that's what we're here for. Like, come on, like.
Well, I hope, all I can say is I hope that in her own practice with Vanderbilt, I hope they practice that with her. Like,
good, hit her.
Put her in situations that she might see in the game. That's all you can do.
Listen, let's move forward. Am I thinking years from now that the game of American football is going to be 50% women, 50% men? No, and I'm not asking it to be like that. But if a girl can play football at the high school and the college level at the kicker position, or I think I've seen like a quarterback before, like, great, cool, do it, go for it. Like, we'll move forward. Like, there's anomalies in so many different things. This doesn't have to be an anomaly. It could be a step in the right direction. It could be, listen, there's people that are good at certain things, so let them be good at certain things. It doesn't matter what you look like, what you are, what you identify, anything like that.
Or call for collegiate women's football teams.
Well, yeah. I mean, I like the tossing in women into the men thing.
I do too. Like you said, like it's probably not going to be 50-50, but if you a whole bunch of girls to, make it a collegiate women's sport.
I'm going back to college then.
Me too. I'll join you.
Listen, I got my varsity letter in lacrosse. I can go back and play another sport. There's no rule against that.
I got 4 years of eligibility.
I can't play lacrosse again, but I'll go back and play women's football as a 30-year-old woman. All righty. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Do not miss The Real Housewives of Orange County is on in 10 minutes if you are watching us live. If you're watching us on demand on the podcast version, we hope you catch it. It's on Wednesday, 9 p.m. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City again on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. It's been so good. We hope you're keeping up with that. The Real Housewives of Atlanta season 13 premiere is on Sunday, this Sunday. I'm going to get the date for you if you're listening to the pod, December 6th at 8 p.m. And then also you have Potomac on Sunday the 6th at 9 p.m. So right after that. So you got the doubleheader on Sunday here.
Doubleheader on Wednesday, doubleheader on Sunday.
Oh, we got a lot going on right now.
Yes.
A lot of housewives, a lot of football. When it comes to football, there is no Thursday night football. So scratch it off your calendars. I don't know what you guys are doing tomorrow night, but maybe I'll set up my Christmas decorations actually tomorrow instead. Sunday night football is Denver at Kansas City. Monday night football, we got a doubleheader for you. It's Washington at Pittsburgh and the Buffalo Bills at the San Francisco 49ers.
The first game starts at like 5 and the second one's at like 8 something.
Ooh, I love a 5 o'clock game.
Yeah.
And then we have Tuesday night football on the schedule for y'all. And it's the Dallas Cowboys and the Baltimore Ravens. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We will catch you next week. Same time, same place. Maybe not same place. We'll probably be together next week. But
sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Can't get my wine on camera. Good night. Cheers.